Warning: this stream is for entertainment purposes. The opinions expressed by the participants might be exaggerated for comedic effect. Harsh language can be used. Thought-provoking or controversial topics may be discussed.
Be better if I got a microphone. Hello, everybody, and welcome. I don't know if I wanted to make this Terror of Your Skin or not. I guess it is now. Why not? Middle of the week. I don't know if you watch. I hope you did, and I put the link in the description down below. If you didn't, you can watch it after the stream. But the guys from the Black Lodge game made a very good video today about role-playing game should be more like soap opera. Stop running sandboxes, start running soap operas. Actually, the last Terror of Your Skin we did was about sandboxes, so that's interesting. That's appropriate. Saying that basically what it's basically what we always do because we don't have like a pre-written story or anything. Sandboxes doesn't mean just like rolling on random table all the time. Hello, Doodle Squatch. Nice seeing you. I don't know if I'm gonna be joined by people, but I went into the video from Black Lodge game, guys. I don't think I'm gonna play it here tonight. You can go watch it all. It's worth watching. Plus, there's a nice ad of for the product coming up, their Kickstarter. So then you can click on that link and sign up for notification. But but yeah, I went in the video a bit skeptical because when they say like soap opera, for me, like what it mean, like it mean like big melodrama, and those like unbelievable twist, right? And those like thing like dun, 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 and everything that nothing makes sense, and everything is like, oh, you have to suspend your disbelief so much. You know, I wasn't too hot at the idea, but the way they explain it, and they take the example of like a Twin Peak being a soap opera, which is true. Twin Peak was written to be like a soap opera. Twin Peaks is all commentary about the state of TV at the time, stuff like that. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. And there's a few things that they said that I thought was very interesting. What they refer to as being like this soap opera thing is about making those network of things that are connected, right? And the ripple, like everybody is connected to everybody else, like from like sometimes indirectly, right? Like sometimes like it's, oh, this guy is linked to this guy in this way that is linked to this other guy in this way that, and then you all like circle back in the end, right? In Twin Peak, the example they take, they have this small town and they go to the old network of like, oh, this guy is working with the sheriff, which is in the secret society, and we're just like doing with this guy, and it's like, and that's very interesting, and that's definitely something that you can and should take from for your RPG. But I would put a grain of salt on that, a bit of caution. I don't know if people like I sent the link to my usual collaborator. Some of them like said that they would join, but apparently none of them did. So I thought it would be more of a conversation. It might be a very short stream if I'm just me alone. But what was I saying? I lost my train of thought now. So yeah, having those ripple effect and everybody being connected to somebody else, right? And when somebody like disappear or somebody take action, stuff like that, it has ripple to the whole community basically. I think that's a good thing to do for contain area, right? It's something you want to be careful with. I think if you want to do the soap opera thing, like those guys suggest, I think it's a very good advice. But you have to allow your PC to at some point resolve that web, like disentangle that web, or leave it. Maybe they don't disentangle anything. Just like at some point leave it, right? They just like, we're done with that plot. We're done with those group of people. We're moving somewhere else, and you can still have like some linking this one web to another or the next one they go through, but you should try to keep them apart to some extent. So first, at some point, they can feel like they resolve something. And secondly, what you don't want to have is the small universe syndrome, right? We've seen that a lot with not that I watch any, but from what I hear, right? The new Star Wars, the Disney Star Wars kind of thing, right? They always go back to Tatooine. It's always the HUD. It's always Boba Fett. C-3PO is always there, right? Just like they always like reuse the same character, and it gives you the impression that there's like 20 people in that universe. It's all fucking galaxy, and it's always the same people. It's always the same planet they go through. It's always like it's always the at some point like this is a fucking empty world, right? And if you make it that everybody is always connected, hello Justin, then you're gonna give that impression to it's every time like, oh, now we have this new thing up, this new thread happening. Oh, and bum bum bum, it was that guy all along, right? It does become goofy at some point. There's a point like where that's when like the suspension of disbelief like is stretched too far, right? And novella do that a lot. Like they have like this cast of 20 character, and everything is gonna be around those 20 character. When you're in a small town, a small community, that makes sense. Like for Twin Peaks, it made a lot of sense. Even though, again, sometimes they would go across the border in Canada, right, with this French Canadian guy, Renault, and there was a thread linking this plot there with the rest of the plot, which is the right way to do it. But that's you have to remember that you want to have those tangled web, but you don't want to have everything in the world be in the seemingly one single web, right? And also one thing, the reason also why you want to allow your player sometime to leave those web and go somewhere else is because you don't want to stretch the sauce. At some point, like people need some resolution, right? That's a big thing with those like Mexican novella, right? Just like they that have been on the air for like decades, right? And it's always like there's never any resolution because like every time something's about to resolve, then somebody else gets involved, and then like always in the same fucking location with the same character for 30 years, right? Who want to play that really? So how would you have any sense of accomplishment and win? I'll send you the link, Justin, if you want to join. If I find it. You're the novella guy, right? You're the guy that is big into soap opera. We know that. So yeah, if you want to come in. So so I agree with a lot of what those guys said from the Black Lodge game, but there was just like those little points that I think they should have touched about. Oh, hello. I was just like trashing your show. Just those. If you have the link too, Matt, if you want to join, right? Yeah, just those little points. Like it's good to have those interconnected web, but don't make them like worldwide, right? Do those questions interpersonal drama between PC is what many people like. Between PCs, I don't know if you want like, and I think it's good to have some tensions like that, but at some point they need to work as a unit to some extent. So I don't know if you just want the, maybe like some like I like when the PC sometimes I like the divergent goal, right? They want some different thing, but I don't think it should be like all the time, always like everyone putting the blanket one way or the other, because that gets old pretty fast. At some point, you need to go somewhere. You need to accomplish something. And the Doodle Squad also sound like a theme park. Oftentimes, like people like make the distinction between like it's like the railroad, then the theme park, then the sandbox. And I don't think if you want to, you can do like this soap opera approach without making a theme park. Like the theme park idea is like, oh, it's not quite the railroad because there are many different railroads and you can pick which one you want to go on, right? There's like, oh, there's this ride there you can pick and this ride here. So I'm not putting you on a ride. You can choose the ride you want to go in, but once you choose the ride, you're on the ride, right? Just like, so that's the big, oh, you retracted the statement. I don't see it here when the thing get deleted. So there's that. Hello, Justin.
Yeah, yeah. Hello, my friend.
How are you doing?
Let me
Speak, say
just
something.
mute the stream.
Okay. Yeah, because I heard something.
Yeah.
Also stabilize your camera.
It's on a wire, so
Oh, okay. It's better now. The pendulum.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll try
you
not
can
to
get
touch
like
my mouse.
you can get one of those tripod
I've got one on the order. I've got one
Oh,
on,
really?
on order.
You can get them at the dollar store for $4.
Oh no, I've got one like the solid bar coming.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I have for my webcam. But because my table is unstable, something doesn't
yeah,
help.
where I've literally got one of those clamps with the bendy wire.
Yeah.
Yeah, holding mine up, and it's broken too. So
Hello, Bacon Gaming. If you you also got the link if you want to join. Did you watch the video from the Black Lodge game?
yes, this afternoon, about
Yes.
an hour or two after it dropped.
Did you have any thought on it?
It's an intriguing premise. It's an intriguing premise. I'd have to try it, but I'm more towards the drama over combat than you are.
More over the drama than the combat.
Yeah.
Hello, Sean.
Hey,
Hello.
Shauner. How you doing?
Good. So what do you mean? Like you're more about the drama than the combat than most people are?
Yeah,
because I'm very much about the drama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think enough is really given to interpersonal relationships and how it can deepen a story over just
Yeah.
look, I got a gold coin.
Yeah, no, I think we agree with that. Yeah, generally, like people
Yeah.
want stuff. People have desire not always like rational, and that's also something they touched on in the video that I want to talk about as well. I just remember about this high school drama stuff.
I do think they were hamming up the melodrama of the situation, but
Yeah.
it's presentation, right?
Yeah. So what do you think, Sean, about the? Did you have any observation about this? What do you think? Should role playing game be like soap opera?
Well, here's the thing. There's like 20 different answers for what a sandbox is. There's going to be 20 different answers as to what a soap opera is.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to narrow it down in your social contract. What it is you're trying to do exactly.
Oh, that's a good point. Because like I said, like when I went to the video, I had my assumption about the soap opera, right? And that's like they kind of this mental that like right away saying, well, it's not just about like the cheap production value and
They were doing the I don't know, giving both sides of the coin as far as what a soap opera is. They're being tongue in cheek about soap operas, and then they got into the dirty nitty gritty where they explain that all the NPCs are interlocked with each other.
Yeah.
So when you interact with one NPC, news travels fast, and maybe another NPC shows up in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
While you're trying to sleep.
Like this domino effect it can be like very interesting. Hello, Bacon.
That's a soap opera. It's a soap opera thing when all the characters know each other.
Yeah.
If you're going for that, it's going to be on a space station, some cramped space where everyone knows each other.
Yep.
Yeah. And the next thing you know, you're in the hospital room and somebody's barged in, accusing you of sleeping with her husband.
Yeah, or they're in the Tarian
front. Hi to a newcomer now.
Bacon, how you doing?
Hey guys, hey, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. I like your channel. If you haven't checked like Bacon Gaming, you should.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I thought you guys were going to start at 6:30.
Yeah, me too.
No, you know my time. My time is 10 past.
It's whenever.
Yeah, but your link, your
thing says
banner.
6:30.
Yeah. No, well, it showed up at 6:30.
No,
it's okay.
I made a mistake sometimes.
We're doing time travel.
Yeah. So I put the link to I guess that should be the link to Bacon's channel there that I just posted.
But usually in a soap opera game session, you introduce the characters, so you have to know about the orphan child who's unaccompanied by an adult on a plane ride because their mom has a dog dying of cancer, the nun sitting next to the kid, the stewardess who's going to learn how to fly the plane. That all has to be set up first before disaster happens.
And that I want to come back to you later, Chandra, but I want to give a chance to Bacon to say a word, but because it's going to be interesting your take on it from you that don't like to run campaign, because I think also this opera is a lot to do with the campaign stuff. So seeing how you can include that in a one shot is gonna be interesting. Bacon, what do you think of the video of those Black Lodge Gate guy?
I thought that it was very correct and true. I think that. So let me get my thoughts organized here. So I'm going to start at Vampire. I know they like Vampire, and they call it a mob game, kind of. It's like a mob soap opera now that they've put this video out. And I think that the reason for that is because it's kind of baked into the systems. Like Love or Hate Vampire, you start off with a clan, and that clan informs your character's motivations. Then on top of that, you have your covenants. And this is specifically Vampire the Requiem. So on top of that, you have your covenants, which have additional goals and motivations. And then on top of that, you have the politics of the city that you're playing in. And I feel like all of these items, that they're really social indicators. So it really fuels the interaction between player characters and also NPCs, depending on what clans they're a part of, what covenants they're a part of, who they're aligned with politically. And I find those to be the most satisfying types of games to participate in, because extremely player driven, goals, motivations become extremely important in those circumstances. And I think that what they have said, it just it typifies that, because you know, you might have a political allegiance to this person over here, but maybe they're in a clan that currently is opposing yours within the city. Maybe they're a part of a covenant that you're diametrically opposed to. And so the relationships become very complicated, and they also they link to everyone else, because maybe a hated enemy of yours is in your own covenant. And so there are relationships and situations that grow out of that. Maybe the person who you're politically aligned to is over here in this covenant with this other person. So it becomes this sort of web and a network, and interacting with just a single individual. It really ends up trickling down into a wide variety of NPCs or even other player characters. And so I really agree with what they're saying. And I think that taking that and transposing it onto whatever game you happen to be playing, it doesn't even matter. As long as you have those motivation builders, and as long as you have those goals to NPCs and player characters, it becomes just a much more satisfying sort of a game, in my opinion. I probably don't have to qualify that. Of course, it's my opinion. I'm the one talking.
Yeah, of course. Like in the warning, everybody like speak for their own opinion.
Right.
Just like, but like what you mentioned about like goal and motivation and stuff like that, and I think that's very interesting, because we often like that's a topic that we often talk about, and came up again on the like when Ginny D made this video. Oh, how your character have goal and motivation? Everybody was like, yeah, duh. Of course, right? Just like congratulations on like figuring that out, right?
Didn't
But, like,
your God Watsy tell you that? Oh, wait,
Yeah.
no.
But I would even push that like further, right? Don't have your character like have like just one goal or one motivation, stuff like that. People have multiple goal and motivation. We all want multiple things, right? And oftentimes those things come into conflict. We talk about conflict, right? People have goals and motivation, and different people's goals come into conflict with each other. But oftentimes our own goal and motivation come into conflict with each other, and that's also a big part. Like this, like it's not only like interpersonal drama. Now you also like bring it into personal stuff, right? Like now you have like I've been rewatching. I've been talking about that, rewatching like the Game of Thrones show for some reason. And
Yes. Do I want to ignore Cersei or bed her?
it's not the worst. It's like it's a character I don't dislike too much. In the later seasons, become shit like all the characters. But
Cersei,
Which one is she?
Tarnaris,
she's
Is she
the
the-
mother,
is-
the queen,
yeah.
at the beginning, the blonde one, the Lannister.
Is she the dragon lady?
No,
No,
that's
the
the one I
dragon
was
lady. I
thinking of,
skipped the
but-
scene. All the scene with her, I just like fucking fast forward because it's inconsequential.
I
It's just
didn't
fucking
watch.
annoying.
I didn't watch Game of Thrones, so I don't know who anyone is.
No.
If I
But-
saw the face, I would know. Who you're talking about.
Congratulations.
Yeah, she's older. She's like an older woman, but a very good looking one.
Is she
anyway.
the one from Judge Dredd?
Yes.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. The new Judge Dredd. She played the.
But I was mentioning that because
Joker.
at some point, like Ginny Lannister, like people say, oh, you make a note and stuff like that, and say, yeah, I made a note to the king, but I also made a note to protect the innocent and the weak, and I also made a note to this guy, and I made a note to my lord, and at some point they come into conflict, right? So like which one am I supposed to break, which one am I supposed to follow? And I think that's a good lesson in role playing games. If you can bring that in your role playing game, right? Give your people like obligation, motivation, goal, desire. As a GM, you can like try to push your player for that, but that player also lean into that, right? You have your character be complex and multifaceted, and that's gonna help a lot with the drama in the game.
Yeah, you have pacts or gentleman agreements with other characters, and everything's working out fine the first session. The next session, everything turns to shit. And you don't know who you should break bonds with.
Yeah, and that's what Kidolo say here. Like a VTM is soap opera E. In the same way, I would say the Legend of Five Ring. You always have competing loyalties, and like that's what I was talking about. Basically, you lose your cool, then you lose your head, right? Like, and you have to balance this whole thing, and that's also what the Black Lodge game was talking about. Like, oh, everybody is linked with everybody, right? Same idea, right? Oh, I'm the sheriff working with this guy, but I'm also part of the secret society, which with this guy is also like linked to this woman, right? Just like, and then like, how do you balance all that?
Yeah.
What about, I like Mad Men. Each
Mad Men-
episode you find out there's new characters that aren't tied to anybody, and you wonder how they're going to get involved in the mix.
Yeah,
that happens.
Never
Mad
saw it.
Men's a good example of like a well done soap opera, right? Like that's what it is. It's just not done with the cheese factor of telenovelas.
Usually with soap operas, no one gets killed. So they're going to be
sometimes
on the show for a long time.
When they have a conflict with the with contract, they get killed.
They get killed. And if the contract's resolved, their twin comes into the show.
Yeah, the twin, the long lost twin, the illegitimate child, whatever.
How many games have you been in where somebody's just scratched the name off their character and wrote another one on after it's done?
Oh, I used to do that all the time.
We never allowed it.
I used to do that all the time. I just keep bringing back the same character with a different name.
Well,
and the mage will be the mage formerly played by Shauner will now be a warrior played by Shauner with the same stats.
Like it also people get killed all the time, but oftentimes they're not really killed either, right? Oh, you thought I was dead, but actually I was just in a deep coma for the 6th season.
Oh, that's the guiding light right there.
26 episodes later, it's a dream sequence.
Yeah,
fucking Dallas.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And
General Hospital always had the person in the coma.
Mm-hmm. You're muted, Bacon.
Oh, I was just nodding my head and agreeing.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I was going to go old school too and say Saint Elsewhere. That was
that one's cool.
That one's really cool. And there's a whole like network. There's a graph of all of the different shows that it actually is like it marries almost every television show you've ever seen into a single unified world because of how many different crossovers there were. It's kind of neat to see. But that even speaks to the point, which is that it's all webbed, it's all interlocked, and even on a meta level, like examining the different shows and the characters that come from the different shows, it can work.
What was the guy's name? Steve Watchcow or something?
Oh gosh, I don't remember.
But he did Hill Street Blues.
Yeah. Hill Street Blues is another one, which is linked up. There were crossovers for that show.
Yeah. Dragon shout out. Dallas was exactly the show I was referencing with JR's shooting, and
when I think of soap opera, I think of Dynasty.
Dynasty is a good one.
Actually, I got an RPG
I can never
back in
watch
the day.
it.
I've never been a big TV watcher, so like as you know, so like soap opera, like I don't know that much of it.
Basically,
it's
usually someone gets married and the wife gets killed. Then the daughter of the wife grows up. They grow her up really fast, and now she's a main character. and she wants revenge or something.
Doodle Squash, I wanted to address this comment because Doodle Squash said Lost was a sandbox. The writer made it up as they went along. It included a lot of soap opera elements. I think that's a good also like jumping off point. Like I think it's a fair comment.
That one is lots of red herrings, lots of hooks.
Yep.
People on the island either take the hook bait or ignore it, or they come up with their own drama. They get cabin fever.
Yeah.
But I wanted to what I wanted to point out in this comment, because that's also something like people like the Black Lodge game guys did say, oh, don't make it a sandbox, make it a soap opera. And that was the first thing, like when they said that on the video, in the beginning of the video, I said like, what? Like, and especially after they explained later on, like, both are not mutually exclusive.
Yes, they aren't mutually exclusive.
Have like the soap opera element in the sandbox, right?
Yes.
What's a sandbox?
Well, I would judge a sandbox that it's things from the world, like you interact with the world, where soap operas, the world just exists around the characters and they interact with each other. Right?
I would argue that a soap opera is kind of a. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I apologize.
Yeah, no, go.
I was just going to say, I think the soap opera is a sandbox, but specifically for character relationships.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, but you could have both at the same time. That I think for me, like what defined the sandbox for me is like about player freedom and player agency, right?
Yes.
Like it's not about like, well, here's a bunch of location, you can go wherever you want. No, it's like we like, and like that's why like we made the stream. Was it last week? 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago about like sandboxing in 4D, and say like, well, we always do sandbox because there's no predefined path, right? We make stuff as we go, and we allow co-creation. So say, oh, let's go to the castle over there. There might not be a castle before we mention it, but now there is, right? So that's like, by a sense, very sandboxy.
Well, for most people, the sandbox is just a sandbox that you stand in and you do nothing because you're standing in sand.
Well, that's because most people can't think,
and you're not a proactive player at all. So you have to be told a story. There's no story in dirt.
Yeah, like you put them in a sandbox and they don't start building castle on their own. Then you have to say like, well, you could build a castle if you want. You can play with this truck if you could try to make a road and make a city, right? But if you have
how do I roll to do that? Most players want to roll dice on their turn.
20. Yeah.
They want to win a prize.
Yeah.
Like roll a dice, and I'll tell you a different part of the story.
Well, if you don't role play in a role playing game, then what's the reward?
Yeah.
For those players.
That's why every DM should show up to their game sessions with a brochure to Vegas.
All I got was this stupid T-shirt.
And every time somebody asks what time they can roll their dice at, you just hand them the brochure to the blackjack table or whatever.
Yeah, give them the dice that rolls 11s and 7s.
It's the wrong fucking game. I spilled my drink.
And like what Arun said, like there you go. He said like sandbox are gay. Sandbox is like a Grand Theft Auto is fine for 15 minutes at a time. To run people over and shoot with there's no real substance. But I think like that's the thing when you do a role-playing game, like as a player you can bring your own substance. Like you have a character that has goal and stuff like that, and now you put into this world, and you say, when you play a character in a role-playing game, you should play the type of character that imposes will on the world to some extent, right? I know a lot of people now like are very passive in real life. They don't have this attribute of like imposing your will on the world. I think you should think of what you want and go fucking get it. That's me being the motivational speaker, Sean.
Well, some players think that, we're going to play TTRPG. That means we're all heroes. We're always the good guys. So you're doing half. You're doing half of what you can do with the game.
Yeah, well, that's why a few months back when the boys over there at Black Lodge reviewed that Jane Austen role-playing game.
Yeah,
it's like, and that concept really intrigues me to this day because, well, the people that made it didn't execute it at all. They were checkboxing instead of enjoying the material. But
was that a real game or was that just an idea?
No, they made a
Well,
game, and if you bought
made a
all in
game,
for it, it
the
was
real
like
game, it's a different
$700.
question.
Remind me what it is. It's not based on the Jane Austen and vampires or zombies, is
No,
it?
no, it's
No,
it's
no, no.
actual Jane Austen books, but all the characters are put into one game, plus a bunch of diversity hires.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, and feminism.
So it's got NPCs from like Persuasion and Pride and Prejudice, and they're all
Yeah.
mixed together.
Yeah, like because they're
And it's
all-
made for a
all-
modern audience.
yeah, and it's made for a super wokest
But
modern
it
audience.
takes place in
yeah,
1833 or something
but
like
there's
that,
a bunch
right?
of Africans and Indians walking around the countryside.
That's
of
also
England.
something that bothers me, right? Like, it's a bit off topic now, but like if you play a character in that setting, you should try to have a mindset of that setting, right?
Mhm.
You don't want, you cannot be always like the, like, you know, you're not only like you wouldn't be like super progressive in that setting. You would be like insanely progressive if you go in that setting with modern idea, right?
Well,
Just
that's the
Yeah.
thing. Elizabeth Bennet, right, one of the best literary characters of all time, was hyper progressive for that setting.
Yeah.
All of her characters were hyper progressive for that setting.
but it goes to a certain extent anyway. That's
Because it's
But they
still
still
in that
had the
world.
Victorian age thing, right? Or was
Yeah,
it
exactly. Yeah.
yeah, because they're actually written in the world that they live in, and
like women didn't just go and talk to the guy?
there was
And guys and women never talked to each other alone. There was always
Others
someone
Yeah.
around.
yeah.
And you had to write a letter and have the person read the letter, and
Well,
you
that's
can
necessary
just walk
technology.
up to some girl and ask her on a date. That was never done.
You had to be introduced,
Yeah.
which just meant somebody you mutually knew introduced.
And so it just takes the whole freaking book for, boy meets girl to happen.
Yeah. Which, that there's interplay and drama in that kind of storytelling, which is like what you want to do when you're role playing.
Mhm.
Yeah, 'cause
And you're wanting to explore non-combat role playing,
And-
right?
But even if there's combat, right? I'm a big advocate of like the best monster or human, right? Like that's the most interesting opponent, because you can like human people basically. Like they don't have to be human, I guess. You want to be the fantasy race, well, but people that are sapient, right? They want thing, they have goals, they take aim to achieve. Just killing monster, right? Oh, there's a big monster, go kill it. You kill it, yeah, you won, right? Just like that's fine once in a while.
Yeah.
But it become boring really
boring.
quick, in my
It's boring.
opinion.
Well,
Yeah.
like
No, you kill the
Like, if you want
monster.
to have that, there needs
Then
to be
what
like
happens?
yeah.
exactly. There needs to be like some ramification to it.
Or you got to
Like,
kill the
you-
next
you-
monster, and then the
You've
next
stirred
monster.
you've stirred up some spirit dust. You've awoken things. Now
Yeah.
the town has got a curse because of what you
Or-
did.
But
Or
that
the
quickly
monster
leads-
wasn't just there randomly. Somebody
Yeah.
brought it here, right? Now you have like a mystery or something. I guess I'm big into mystery. Like everything
Yes.
turned into mystery.
Oh,
People say like,
everything's a
"Oh, you make a
secret. Everything's a
mystery game." I say, "You don't make a mystery game. Mystery happen in your game."
yes. But the thing that worries me about that is then you get and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, which is not the characters moving the world forward, but
Yep.
the world moving the characters forward.
Yep. But also,
This
like
is-
in
yeah,
writing,
victory points.
in writing, usually like there's an advice to say like you don't want to say and then this happened.
Mhm.
If you say that, you're in the wrong path. You want to say therefore this happened, right? It's like
It should
if
be
you just end-
consequence, not
exactly.
Well, in a
One thing
modern
is
game,
all
the
of
girl
another.
character sleeps with all the guys, so she gets the highest body count. And if anyone complains about it, she calls them toxic masculinity or something.
Yeah. I've been going into the Gilmore Girls subreddit and deliberately
What?
fucking
one of
with the people on there.
I used to watch that show. In the last season, they sort of went political, but before
Yeah.
that happened, they had speed writing or speed dialogue. The
Yeah,
two girls on that show, they would talk really fast back and forth to each other.
It
And I always
had,
wondered if they had to practice those lines
What show?
to talk that
Gilmore
fast.
Girls. They had twice the page count of a regular hour show.
Oh, really?
per script.
Yeah, they're just snappy answers to stupid questions back and forth, just bantering. The whole show is just banter.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's melodrama.
So-
It's a soap opera.
It came after Dawson's
Very good.
Creek
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
There you go.
Party
Well,
of Five.
I knew that. Like that was also like a kind of a soapish for a teenage
Yeah.
soap, right?
I think it was a
I could never get into Party of Five.
CW series or
Yes,
something.
CW.
Yeah, and thank you, Justin, for bringing us back on topic of the soap opera and mentioning like Dawson Creek. Also, like bring me back to the another thing I want to talk about that the Black Lodge game talk about in their video. I think is interesting concept of bring it back to high school drama. Right? People never really leave high school, they say, and don't think further than that. You can keep it to the level of high school drama because that's how thing happen in real world, right? In real
Yeah.
life.
It's what people know. They
I
can
don't know.
relate
Would
to it.
you
What do you think of
rather relive high school or relive the Charles Xavier School of Mutants?
High school.
I don't know. I don't know if we're going to.
One of those doesn't involve giant robots
Because
stepping on me.
the mutant thing, especially the ones from Canada, they have a lot of drama. I think
The one from
they're
Canada.
they're
Like,
trying. They don't want people to know they're mutant, but then at the same time, they have mutant powers they can't control, and they want to learn how to control their powers.
Yeah.
And at the same time, they're sent on missions to go save the Earth.
Mhm.
It's a lot of drama for a teenager.
I can't wait until my
Yeah.
camera's over here.
But are they teenager when they go to the Xavier school? I guess so.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
older
Happy
one,
Days. Happy Days has 30-year-old teenagers, so yes.
Well, the modern world has 38-year-old.
The Fonz, he's like 40 or something.
Hey, I resemble that remark.
You do resemble it. Bacon, what do you think about the high school drama?
No, I think
think
they're
that's a
right.
good-
I mean, I work in an office environment, and it is very high school drama,
Oh yeah. Well,
and it's as interconnected
going to go there?
as a soap opera is.
I guess it's a co-ed environment too, right?
Say again?
Well, just
It's a
a co-ed
co-ed environment.
Oh yeah.
There you
Just
go.
go to the
That's
food
your high
room.
school drama.
just go to the break room on Friday and see the notes posted on refrigerators. Get your stuff out of here, or it will be thrown away. And no one does it. They leave their stuff for the weekend.
You know that there's a time where like those corporations didn't really need a big HR department because there weren't all this conflict in work, right? People would say like, well, the work you did is shit, do it again, and then would do it again, and then sometimes there was some yelling, but it would get resolved, right? It wasn't like drama and snickering and stuff like that. That came with the modern days, with some societal
Well,
change.
You have work spouses, and then you have people that are
Yeah.
not your work spouse that you yell at.
Yeah, and it's bitching in the back, right? It's very
Yeah.
Back in the
it's very-
receiving department, people are belly aching about. We don't have enough duct tape, or was it mask? Or what do they call it? Packaging tape, whatever.
And I think
pallets-
that's something we should that could be considered, right? Because it's a very like when you work in a male environment, it's very different than when you work in a co-ed environment. Like
Yeah.
things are much more direct. Nowadays, not so much because with like men are feminized, like and they act.
Yeah, in the old days, the guys talk like sailors, but they don't do that
Yeah.
much anymore.
Yeah, and then
Everyone's on
there
their
was
phone.
always like this physical threat as well, right? So, and you had this hierarchy that you know where you stand for in. Now you can do that anymore, right? And it's like a lot of like men have been raised without father. So, but if you were to go back to a setting like a medieval setting, would you have like this little like bitching and stuff like that, this little sniggering in the back, and this little like high school drama shit, or like just people say like, "Sir,
Yes, you
you're offending
would.
my honor. I'm gonna provoke you into duel," and then like the fucking issue get resolved, and then we move on with
Just-
life, right?
Just hire
that's
a
completely
chick.
different.
Just hire a chick that looks hot. See what happens. See what the other women start doing.
Yeah,
they're gonna
so funny.
try to give her a reputation of some sort
But
to ruin her life.
My question basically outside of like the political comment that I'm showing in there, my question is, do you think this is setting dependent, this high school drama? Do you think if you go back to like 13th century, 14th century, do you think you would live that as well, or people had real issue that they had to deal with?
Okay,
So
you-
they had
first-
time for
okay,
fucking snickering?
First, you had to survive being a kid. If you made it to 10 years old, you might live to be 30.
Well, if you survive being a kid, you have a good chance to live old.
You have
Like
6
40%
kids
were
and
died as
2 of them
child.
die, or yeah, 6 kids and 4 of them die, that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Yes, there was still drama. It's just it didn't last as long between
You
groups,
probably
or that
fought
there were
the
more
bully
formal,
and it's over.
that there were more
Yeah.
formal more formal tools
They had duels.
like social
exactly.
tools, right?
It was also
to,
probably hyper local. Like, parents
Yeah.
taught their kids because they would grow up into the profession of their father. And so the drama tended to be like hyper local. So,
And
if you were a blacksmith, you would train your son as a blacksmith, and then he would be the blacksmith. And the interaction you would have would be with customers.
I
There
think
was no
also like
school,
there
was
much
there?
more,
No, I wouldn't
there
think
were-
there was.
there
I'm
were
no
some,
historian, but I don't think there was an actual school.
depending on the place. Some place had school.
You would be an apprentice
they are
and
now.
learn that way.
Yeah.
Yes, but there would be like schools for philosophy and stuff like that
Yeah.
that you could attend, but they
and
were
usually you go older.
more like things
You could be a monk in a church
Yeah.
and write Bibles or something.
But I think
the
also like a big
schools back
difference
then
from
were
that
more
time.
like club structures are today, right?
I think a big difference in that time as well, like was like the more there was more a more community spirit. They weren't to the hyper individualism that we have now, and you had expectation put on it, and you had duty put on it, regardless of who you are. Like you said, like you were young, you were the son of the blacksmith. Well, you have to take your father straight. You don't have like this question, like what I'm gonna do with my life. What are my dream and aspiration? No, you have duty.
I'm going to
You
stay
have duties
home
to your
and play
family.
games.
Exactly. Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
you could
So I think
you
it was much
could
less time for bitching around.
you
I'm not
could
going to get
choose
married ever.
you could choose to take up a different trade, but you would have that one that you were raised in to fall back on if you failed, right?
And
Which
and
most
then the
people
tools
don't
were
have
there, and that all the investment were made, so you could just
Mhm.
like keep on doing what your father did. Yeah.
But to,
Well, if
to
I'm
take it back to high school, I think the idea that they were communicating in their video is that when they said high school drama, what they meant was, at least in my interpretation, is to take it back to something that everyone is familiar with regard to, character interaction, NPC interaction. And so I think while, specifically high school drama is definitely going to be setting dependent, I think that you can still take those relationships and still take those familiarities, even for someone, who's living in the modern day, and sort of transpose them onto the game so that you can get those different NPC motivations and character motivations.
And there's also something. There's also something I think we should consider, that like even if because I'm asking the question, would that have been the case back in the days? But sometimes it doesn't matter, because the goal is not to necessarily be historically accurate and have like the perfect mindset of somebody from the day, because that's very hard to say. But it's to give something that the player can refer to and understand and relate to.
Yeah,
So maybe
find out what the peer
we might be
pressure
bored.
was at that time
Yeah.
and just go with that, because the peer pressure is different with each decade, it seems.
So instead of it being my high school's football team is rivaling with their high school's football team, it's our town's blacksmith bitches and moans about the methods their town's blacksmith uses for doing the
Or
People haven't
maybe there's a
cared.
war on the horizon and nobles need swords, and you're going to make a mint if you can pitch your swords are better than the next guy over, the guy from the next town over.
Or you bitch because you need to have your plow fixed, or you need to have your horse shod, but the blacksmith is all busy making swords, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's like, well, I know it's good as a war. That's fucking rich people war. Let them have their war. We need our fucking horseshoes.
Yeah.
Right?
Just be
What's
lawyers.
the lawyers?
Just be lawyers in these games.
I believe the correct term is solicitor, my good friend.
But I didn't like people say, okay, people stuff that people are familiar with high school drama. I'm not too familiar with that because I didn't get engaged in I didn't engage with the high school drama back in the days.
Me neither. There was no peer pressure where I was at.
I'm born old, so like,
yeah, old soul.
School, you're just like, ah, man, that's fucking stupid. I'm not interested. But
you were above the 8th grade. You didn't stay in 8th grade.
No, well, when I started, it was just like I didn't care for any of it. For me, it all looked very silly. But also I had a lot of
Yeah.
problem in my life otherwise. So
Oh
I
yeah,
have a
you
lot
have
of
you have more interesting problems.
yes, exactly. Like I've been pitched in life pretty fast. But so what do people do? They're just like about like, oh, Becky said that to Ginny, but Ginny. Oh, I don't remember like fucking Little Britain, right? When the Vicky Pollard.
Who?
Have you ever watched the show Little Britain?
No,
No.
there were
None of you watched Little
transvestites,
Britain? Oh man,
I've
for
heard
once I
of
watched
it.
a show that nobody saw. So it
there
was
was
big.
a fat crossdresser in that. I wasn't interested.
No, he wasn't a fat. He wasn't like there was a crossdresser, but he wasn't fat, and there was a fat gay, a fat homosexual, which the gimmick was, oh, I'm the only gay in the village, and then like everybody was like introducing other gay people, and he said, no, he's not gay. Just like, and he never wanted to have sex with anybody because what he wanted was to be the only gay in the village. But anyway. But
Was
there was
this a
like this girl, like
comedy?
called yeah, this
Or-
comedy.
Yes.
It was
I can't
pretty
remember
funny,
the
and it
stuff.
was pretty edgy back in the time, right, in the days, I guess.
Oh, okay.
But there was a
Were these could these be real characters or were they made just for the show?
Made just
Well,
for the show from the commercials.
they were made just for the show, but like I was living in London back in the days when I was watching that, right, and they could be real character. It's like they're not too far off, right? You just
Yeah,
push
but-
them a bit, right?
Well, there has to be some what they call it, suspension of disbelief when you watch these
Yeah.
things.
But there was like this teenage character, like that was played by like all the female characters I think were played by male, or most of the female. And it was like this character called Vicky Pollard, and she was like this a very obnoxious teenage girl that was like every time you ask her a question, she was always like telling you a fucking story drama about like, oh, this girl is a bitch, and then she said that to that, and Becky went, but I don't like Becky because she went with Jimmy, and then Jimmy, and then like people like, what?
Jimmy?
Like she would always like ramble about all this fucking high school
There's-
drama.
That's a real person.
Yes.
But when I roleplay, I want to roleplay an interesting character. So that's the main thing. So the soap opera would have to be interesting, I suppose, or have interesting things going on in it.
Well, usually they do, if you're into the subgenre that they're
If you're
in.
into the subgenre.
Yeah,
But I think also, like, the point-
you can do soap opera in something like Aliens, kind of, sort of. You know
Yeah.
You know,
it would be an.
you ever
office
been
call.
mistaken for a man? You know, that kind of thing.
No, have you?
Yeah.
Great line. Great movie.
Yes.
Your characters can say you can give backhanded comments to each other doing stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
If you're role playing, if you're not role playing, then you're just a bunch of guys sitting around looking at your spreadsheet, character sheets, trying to solve how to survive opening this door to get to the next room as a group effort, committee meeting.
Hey, I found they make a car that has a taser door handle. I finally found a thing with an electrified door handle.
Oh,
okay.
were you talking about Trap? I look for Trap.
Yeah, there's this
Yeah.
armored SUV that has a fucking taser door handle.
How does the handle work? Do you know? Do you
No
hold
fucking idea. I didn't look into it too much.
if you grab the handle like this, then your hand goes, and you can't let go if you're being electrocuted.
I think it's if you're in the vehicle and somebody tries to pull you out of it, you can activate the security.
Oh, okay.
feature.
Anti-carjacking
Yeah.
technology.
Bacon,
Yeah,
anything you
Batman
want to
had
add?
that.
You've been talking in a while.
Yeah, I know. I'm new to this. I apologize. It's,
You have to jump in because like otherwise, like we all big mouth
New
That's
to what?
fine. I can jump in. I just
and
it's
they ramble.
You're
New to
new
the
to
whole
the
panel
video
thing.
conferencing.
You did the live thing, right? Is that the first time on the live?
It's not my first time on a live stream. It's not my first time in a panel, but I'm still finding my feet on panel shows.
I
I
noticed-
appreciate the shepherding, but you know, I'll
I noticed you have corporate environment etiquette with the muting. Don't do that
Yeah.
on YouTube videos.
okay. I
Yeah,
will not.
it'll make it easier for you to jump in because you don't have
Yeah.
a step to.
Okay, I gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah.
You're allowed to fart and burp
Yeah,
and stuff.
since your environment is not too noisy, right? That's fine.
Oh well, now the floodgates are open. Let me.
Now, I do suggest in the future you redesign your room so there isn't a door in the background because we've had
Especially
an
it's
incident in the
Doorknob.
past.
No, I get it. It's like I started because I just wanted to
What
kind of
happened
get
with
my
the
ideas
door?
out onto
Naked people?
YouTube.
Yes.
And so, you know, it was literally me sitting here for months going, oh, well, I need this, or oh, I need that. Oh, I need a desk. Oh, I need a microphone. Oh, I need this. And then one night I was just like, you know what? I don't need any of that stuff. I just need to fucking do it. So, you know,
Yep.
this is me doing it. And I'm sure it'll evolve over time and I'll get a better space for recording and lights and microphones.
Well, you do pretty good with your videos already. It's
well, thank
as
you.
if you've already been doing it for a while.
Yes.
I've
Just
been
on
thinking
YouTube.
about it for a while. It's been, you know, the topics that I discuss have been like on my mind, and I you know, drilled down critically on them. So I have a lot to say.
You're not like me. You stay on target. You don't go off on tangents and stuff.
Yes.
I don't write
I
a script or
didn't say
nothing.
it this time, but it's been my biggest complaint about you in the past.
I write a script because I feel like it helps me. But you know, your
Yeah, I
videos
used
are
to-
great though, even with the tangents. I love watching them.
Yeah, I started like writing a script as well, and then I went to bullet point, and then I said, like, you know what, I just want to do it live, but I don't really like the YouTube thing, to be honest.
You don't like the
doing-
YouTube thing?
Yeah.
I don't like
What?
doing YouTube. I like you know, I like to share
Imposter.
ideas,
He's
and I
got
like to talk
imposter
with
syndrome.
people. I like to hang out, but that's why I do all my shit live, right? I don't like the video editing bore me, like just like writing script. No, I want to talk about something. I'll go and talk about it, right? Just like that I like. But the YouTube aspect, and that's also I'm not the best at replying to comments because of that, right? Just like, I
Yeah,
don't fucking
if
care.
back in the day when I was doing stuff with the AI computer and she would talk back to me, I had to have a script, and I would have to record what she says, and then chop it out, because you know how AIs, when they answer the question, they sound like an AI generic answer, not specific. So we just keep doing it until she gives out the right answer I want to hear, and we keep that clip.
Yeah. Heavily edited.
So, heavily edited.
Yeah. People in the comments say like, yeah, the family is like the Montague and the Capulet. Yeah, that's a good example. And again,
Yeah.
like, you know,
And another
It's
melodrama.
Hatfields
Well,
and McCoys.
Actually, I
Yeah,
think
and
that might
Romeo
be-
and Juliet was a soap opera anyway. It was like this person was that person's cousin, and there's, you know, links across families, and so that makes sense.
family rivalry was the whole thing.
but also it was like a play, so a short duration, right?
yeah.
So that brings me
One
back to the
shot.
question I want to talk about the genre earlier. Like, how do you do the soap opera in one shot? Because I think it can work in campaign because you have like the time, you have a slow burn to expose those relationships and to reveal them, right? How do you do that in a one shot, having like this interconnected web of relationship between character without just like spreading it out and overloading the players with information? I guess it need to be like very much limited. How
Okay,
would
well,
do it?
you got Lost, right? Lost is the writers come up with this idea for the pilot, and now they have to figure out what to do for the rest of the show. But in a one shot, think of it as just one movie that has soap opera stuff in it.
Or do you have a soap opera in the one shot?
Well, what's that movie? Single White Female comes to mind. Ever see that movie?
Of course not.
Yeah. No, you should watch that movie. It's a fun film.
I don't like fun.
What's a good soap opera? Well, do they still make soap opera movies?
Well, they were rom-coms or
Yeah.
they're-
The chick flicks. No, back in the '80s, they had soap opera stuff. I can't remember. I can't think of one right now. But like really early '80s, late '70s. Who was the guy that did He did Broadway plays, and then he did movies.
Brockheimer?
No. What was the guy's name? Okay, like a soap opera would be International Velvet, which was the sequel to Velvet?
I don't know. I haven't.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I have no idea what you're talking about.
It was a racehorse movie. And it had the girl, what's her name? She, from what was the Jets and the Sharks? What was that movie called? West Side Story.
West Side Story, yeah.
You know what's
Who was the girl in that one?
No
The
idea.
actress. Anyway, when she was a little girl, Oh no, I'm thinking Elizabeth Taylor. When Elizabeth Taylor was a little girl, she was in a movie where she rode a horse and won a trophy. Years later, Christopher Plummer and so and so and so and so. Was it Tatum O'Neal was the part? Anyways,
Sable Phoenix got you covered. National Velvet.
yeah, National Velvet, and then there's International Velvet. Those are soap operas.
Yeah.
You know, the girl wants to ride the horse and win the whatever, the Kentucky whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And there's drama because, you know, the horse has a broken leg. Oh no. And the girl has to break up with her boyfriend because he's going to be a doctor and she's going to be a horse race driver.
But that's drama. It's not necessarily like what we're talking about, like this.
It's a soap
interconnected
opera.
web of like
They're
is
tear
it?
jerkers. You laugh,
but like,
you cry, it becomes
like
a part
in the
of you.
context of what we're talking now, like when we talk like soap opera, we're talking specifically about this web of interconnected relationship between a multitude of characters, right?
Well, everyone in the movie knows each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're
You
gonna
got
have
the
like
butler,
what,
you got the
7
gardener, you got the husband, you got the ex-husband, you got the brother who's now a girl. You know, that you got all that stuff going on.
In a one shot, you could easily do a single story arc from a soap opera.
And I think that was also like a point with the soap opera, right? Like you need to have like multiple story arc, like being like interlaced.
Well,
and
okay,
even,
your one shot's only going to be a week or two long.
yeah.
The game session.
You can do soap opera one shot if you do like 10 scenes across 10 days, and you know, like so.
You're not going to do like a year's worth of story in your one shot. Okay, like Pulp Fiction, was that soap opera?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I'd say it was because everybody that you met became interconnected through the line.
Okay.
You watched.
Yeah. Well, I guess yes.
It was a serious soap opera.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give it.
It wasn't a tearjerker.
I'll allow it. Yeah. There was some element of soap opera.
Stretching
different plot that are getting connected together and like linking one another. Yeah.
Or Kill Bill, Volume 1 and 2. That's a 2-shot.
That feels more like a straight narrative.
I say it's leave it in the secondhand bin at the video store.
Well, some of these, the beginning of the movie is the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a literary technique.
Like Mystery Train starts at the end of the movie or something like that.
That's,
I don't think that works.
Or Citizen Kane could be a soap opera.
Mm-hmm.
A one shot. And the whole entire one shot is a flashback.
Sable Phoenix, I haven't watched the BLG video yet, but if I'm getting the proper impression from the stream, I think the Blade in the Dark is a great illustration of interpreting soap opera aspect into the mechanic of the game. I don't think that's where they were going with, but I think the mention of a Blade in the Dark is going to be interesting for what we're talking now. So that's why I'm liking the comment now. With all the different factions that have their own scheme going on behind the scene that could go on, also end up responding to the player. Especially if they inadvertently screw up, which is pretty much guaranteed at some point. I think that the interesting point of that is like that's one way. Like I can see your point of Blade in the Dark because they have this mechanic of like retcon and then
what actually happened.
Like, yeah, exactly. Which I'm not a big fan of. But you know that would be like that's almost a license of saying like of forcing those threads to cross and those different plots to be.
I think Fiasco does it better.
I never looked at Fiasco.
Yeah, me either. And I'm not familiar with Blades in the Dark either. I've not read it.
Retconning is the sign of a bad writer.
Actually.
Well, if you retcon in your writing, you're just like that's
R2D2.
That's just like editing, right? You're just saying.
Yeah,
R2D2 is really
editing.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like the editing or the second draft, right?
I mean, I tend to agree with Justin. I think retconning is bad, and I also hate flashbacks. I absolutely hate flashbacks.
Why?
Because I don't care about what happened 2-3 days ago, a week ago, a year ago. I want to know what's happening right now. I want to know what the characters are doing right now. I just don't like flashbacks.
They serve two purposes. Comedy, right? Like flashbacks in Wayne's World. Good.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Flashbacks, most everything else, not good.
Yeah.
And
Completely agree.
the thing that was mentioned earlier, where you see the end or an action point at the beginning, which is a literary device to hook you.
Sure. Let me
Um,
show you how this all ended up this way.
Yeah,
Like that's okay as long as we're not constantly going back to what happened a week ago or
A
how
Christmas Carol has flashbacks, sort of.
Well, I don't know if they consider flashback. It's just like going back in there, no? Just like
Yeah, it's more
Time travel.
I
That's
think-
more
yeah, I think this is-
vignettes of his life.
Is time travel allowed in your one shot?
no.
No,
I think
But
there's
I-
a difference between
In
like
my
a
two-shot, though.
flashback and actual like I don't know. I mean, I guess technically in like Scrooge it would be considered a flashback. So maybe sometimes they're okay, but generally speaking, I don't like
I don't think.
Okay,
I don't think it would be
My
considered like a
favorite movie of
flashback.
all time, besides
Yeah.
Fifth Element, would be Groundhog Day.
Oh, that yeah.
He
it's a
lives
great
the
movie.
same day
Well,
like
that's the whole
1,000
premise
times.
of the movie. So that's
Is that a
different.
flashback? Because
But
he's
have you
seeing the
noticed?
events of
Have you
every-
noticed the
every-
writing is so bad because on the last day he's there, he never does anything with the girl, and yet she's in love with him at the end of the day.
That's the moral. Like that's my experience. Like,
Well,
girls get in love with you if you never do anything with them. As soon
Yeah,
as I start doing this, like they stop loving me.
I think it's he's just being himself, right? That's the
Yeah. Well, in the best version of himself.
yeah.
But
I mean, the
and-
audience has grown to love the character, but how does she grow to love the character? You know, whatever.
Well,
because they ignore
She
her.
hasn't seen him all day.
she recognizes that he's not putting on a false persona anymore.
She empties her bank account so that she can buy him. Like
He did all
what?
those good thing in town. But anyway,
Yeah.
like for flashback, I'll just say like I'm not opposed to flashback in principle, but I think oftentimes they're badly used and they use like instead of doing like a proper foretelling or a proper like putting seed right, just like, oh no, oh this happened, we didn't show you, but this actually happened in the past. Yeah, like instead of like
It's
foreshadowing. This is what I was looking for.
It's done effectively in heist stories where they show the crew failing to break into the vault
Yeah.
or whatever, and then they flash back.
Yeah,
like,
that's
but
very
that's
much
the
so like
literary
the Dark King.
Yeah,
That's
I think
very
a
much a little bit in the
flashback.
dark
There are
image.
circumstances where a flashback can be effective when they're used well, but I think just generally speaking,
it's
Yeah.
I
not.
I like
Most
to use
people
like a callback maybe to something, but
Hmm.
in the
If you remember.
Prestige, was it the Prestige where you find out that Tesla's got this machine and there's all these hats piled up? Is
Not
that
shoes?
No, it's
is
like
that
those,
a-
like obscure thing.
is that a callback to anything, or is that just a reveal?
I don't know.
The hats
To a
were what he
mystery.
was testing the duplication thing on, I think.
Oh, and it worked.
Because you're wondering how let's say there's a serial killer who kills women, the same woman over and over and over again, and he goes back in time, so she's alive.
I think that
So
story
he
does
hasn't-
exist.
He hasn't
Okay, he
killed
goes
her
back to kill her, like,
technically.
one day before, so we can kill her again.
How
Imagine the
how
scene.
does the detective find out that some guy's killing the same woman over and over and over again? How do you reveal that technology? What would he's going to find a contraption and it's got somebody's blood on it because he doesn't wash the thing ever. But the girl's alive. Anyway,
time travel?
I think that's
I
the
wanted to
premise
ask
of
you-
the movie.
those are one-shot stories.
I wanted to ask you, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrel. Is that soap opera-ish?
I'd have
Because
to
you
watch
have
it
like
again.
those multiple plot line. You haven't really should. It's pretty good.
I've seen
you have,
it,
like,
but
those
it's,
multiple
I don't
line.
remember it.
There's a name for that kind of movie. I can't remember what the name is.
I don't know. Guy Ritchie's movie.
Yeah, Guy
It's not-
Ritchie
it's
film.
like
not-
a British
it's not-
underworld movie.
It's not action. It's not
Suspense.
thriller. It's not horror. What is it called?
It's a crime comedy.
Mm.
I want to say Gun Fu, but it's not that.
Or we can think about Snatch. I guess Snatch does a lot of the same thing. A bunch of those like plot that seem like all different characters that seem unconnected, but through the movie, their story weave themselves into one another. maybe that would be like kind of a
Or
one
Fight
shot.
Club? Is Fight Club like that?
No,
Fight
Fight
Club
Club, I
was
would
good.
say it's much more like a direct narrative, no?
Yeah,
Or
I
is
think
that
Fight
just-
Club's more of a direct narrative.
Is it just 2 or 3 characters in that whole movie?
3.
Yeah, pretty much so. That
No,
matter.
1.
Only
Technically
2.
1.
Well, yeah. Well,
Because what's her face is also his imagination.
Marsha.
Yeah, she was also in his imagination.
Okay, what about those movies where the girl thinks she's going crazy? She's being told she's crazy, but it's really everyone else trying to make her crazy, and she's the
Girl
sane one.
Interrupted.
I don't know. She grew up in a padded cell her whole life, and they're telling her that she can't go outside. Or those shows where they're not allowed to leave the silo or the fallout shelter because they might die outside. But outside is perfectly fine.
Yeah. That's,
All those characters are intertwined with each other. They all have their own little backstories with each
what is
other.
his fucking name?
Silo.
No, it's Underworld, the movie Underworld. The Slavic director. What's his fucking name? Emil.
The guy who did the lady with the dragon tattoo.
No,
Or
the
girl
guy.
with
No,
the dragon tattoo?
no. The guy that did Black Cat, White Cat.
Never heard of it.
Underground. You got a band too, the No Smoking Orchestra, and his name.
Oh, I'm
is...
thinking Underworld or something.
Yeah, me too.
The vampire movie.
I think that was Kevin.
Like
Gorilla.
that's the like I don't watch like that's the problem with me. Like I watch like those old fucking British comedy, Slavic movies. And
If
like,
I
in the
saw
top
his face,
fucking
I would
weirdo.
know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
This is 'cause you're a ginger, right?
yeah. Mirkus. Fuck, now it's bothering me. Gonna search the name of his band. No Smoking Orchestra.
But the characters have to be intertwined with each other,
Emir
pretty
Costa
much.
Rica. That's the name I was looking for. Emir Costa Rica.
No idea who that is.
I have no idea
No?
what that is.
Yeah, me either.
You're making up stuff now.
You're by yourself.
I think he's
He has his own Google.
He's chat GPTing us right now,
Emir
Hmm.
Serbian.
making bullshit up. Just
There you
absolute
go.
bullshit.
Bosnian-born Serbian. So he's a Serbian guy that's named Bosnia. So that's the kind of movie.
See, I like cabin fever type stories where everyone's sort of they're contained, trapped within. I don't know. They're enclosed and they have to put up with each other until help arrives and they start going crazy.
Yeah.
It's not really a soap opera though. It's just.
Oh yeah, that's
It's,
what Arun say there. Like he's talking like it's not just like a Seinfeld movie, a movie of Seinfeld. Like in Seinfeld is like that. A lot of where the antics are revealed to be interconnected. That's true. That's something oftentimes people are gonna do like in sitcom writing. Like there's gonna be an A plot and a B plot, sometimes a C plot, and then in the end, they all come together as one. Right? That's a good writing technique, I guess.
The old Next Generation shows from Star Trek had 2 plots for everything.
But oftentimes they were pretty separated. No?
How
Or
about
sometimes like the one thing that happened in the B plot turned out to be the solution for the A plot, or
yeah? Usually, like the B plot was a microcosm of the A plot,
Mhm.
Or
and that's where they
yeah.
figure out the solution. What
The
about
kid
Clue?
made a robot. Clue?
Yeah, the movie Clue. Would that count as like a soap
Martin
opera?
Mull?
Been too
That
long
one?
since I seen that.
Okay. I mean, I
don't
guess technically they don't. The characters in the movie aren't necessarily intertwined, and we discover like their backgrounds throughout the film, but not through flashbacks. And the unifying element is Mr. Body, the guy who ends up being murdered. So there is a connection. It's just a singular point of connection.
Mhm.
I don't know if that really counts as far as
It's,
it's soap opera, but I think it might
It's-
count with regard to like a one shot and how Black Lodge was describing the
Maybe.
interconnectedness. Maybe.
Yeah,
Like
but it's
Agatha
almost like the
Christie is like that.
interconnectedness. Sorry?
Agatha Christie is
Oh,
like that.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Everyone knows each other and everyone's hiding, protecting each other.
But oftentimes
No one wants to reveal
in those
anything.
kind of story, the interconnection is revealed a posteriori, right? It's not something that it's not like plot converging. It's like there's a point here, and then we look back and realize, oh, we're connected, right? Just like it's not something that is active and ongoing. I think that's a big difference. What do you
Well,
say?
sometimes it's a slow burn, and then it's all revealed in the last 5 seconds of the movie.
Yeah.
Sometimes it happens at the beginning, so you already know what's happened, but the detective doesn't know.
Yeah. Well,
the
usually
audience
the
knows.
thing at the beginning is presented to you in one context. So by the time you reach it in the story, it's got a different context to it.
But
I have a
if it's
movie that
well
I've
written,
include nobody knows what happened, right?
yeah.
They have to solve it.
There is a newer film called Abigail.
Yeah.
Which you might like, Shauner. It's about a bunch of people.
Abigail? Is that the doll or the girl?
No.
Something?
No, it's about a group of people that kidnap this wealthy girl, and then shit
She's a
goes
vampire.
upside down for them. You don't ruin the story, man.
It's on the fucking poster,
Spoiler
man.
alert.
It's on
Yeah,
the
but
fucking poster.
if he pirated it, he wouldn't have known that.
You
What
get a
kind
better
of movie-
experience. If
what
you
kind of
pirate it.
movie
You
is
go on
it?
Netflix.
They're all trapped in a house with this girl, and
So it's
she's
a
like-
thriller?
she's like
Lowly
7
vampire
or
movie.
8, and then she turns out to be a vampire.
Yeah.
And
Okay, also the
it's all of
interconnection is
them.
kind of like a game of a 6 Degree of Kevin Bacon, if I'm understanding the BLG video correctly. I think that's a fair thing to say. And now,
Yeah.
at the moment, we're all like 1 degree of separation from Kevin Bacon. Except that is at
How?
0.
Funny story.
Wow.
We're actually from the same city. His father used to be on the city council of Philadelphia, and I'm from a suburb of Philadelphia. So
Did you ever
could
go
we
to
be
city
related?
council and
Sure.
meet him?
I don't know for a fact though.
Might be.
But did
But,
you ever meet him?
hmm?
Because you could still be like 30 degrees separated from him. Because that 6
they'll
degree
probably
of
meet.
separation is when the population of the world was like half the size.
Yeah, even then, it goes fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 7 degrees of separation now. There's a whole math theory behind the thing.
I got another example of
World
movie
of
that
Darkness could be a
maybe
soap
people had
opera.
seen. Yeah, that we talked about
What-
earlier. Like
what-
the Blade Runner movie, the
Yeah.
new one, by Denis Villeneuve, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how we say his name, by the way.
What about?
Correct.
Villeneuve.
I hate that movie because they destroyed Los Angeles and San Diego in that movie.
I think that's a good reason to like the movie.
Yeah, same here.
Southern California is just trash. It's just nuclear waste dump.
Yeah, but what about the movie?
It takes place in a nuclear waste dump, and then
Well, the
Las
whole
Vegas
planet's
is
supposed to
is
be-
almost just as bad.
Yeah.
And there's
yeah,
only one person living there, and it's Harrison Ford. Come on.
Well, he's not
That's
real.
exactly where I wanted to go. Like I didn't like that's my biggest gripe with this movie. I didn't hate the movie. That was all right, right? But like my biggest gripe, I think like it would be much better if they didn't involve Rachel and Harrison Ford's character. I forgot his name. Deckard.
Deckard.
If they
Just
didn't
have
involve like
different- yeah,
Rachel
just
and
have
Deckard, just
different
make a
people.
different story, like right? Because now by involving those guys, you make it very much so small world syndrome or small
Well,
universe.
I
syndrome.
tell you,
Yep.
I tell you, the best sequel to that movie was Total Recall 2077, 2070.
Well,
The TV
it's-
show, the TV show
Yeah.
from the
Canadian
late
TV show.
90s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a great TV show. Total
Ro-
Recall 2070.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you
I
never,
never
saw.
saw it.
yeah. Most
I
people
recommend.
didn't.
Like it's
Yeah.
I guess that's why I saw
it's
it there.
it's age. It's for like 30 years ago, right? But it
Yeah.
was very good.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Blade Runner movie, it's a nice setting. It's grandiose. It could have been an epic setting, but then there's only like 4 characters.
Yeah.
It's like Star
And, you know,
Wars.
and
There's only
that's what I
4
was saying at the beginning
characters.
of the stream, right? The soap opera thing is a good idea, but you have to be careful because if you push it too far, it break the verisimilitude of the world. Like you said, and I mentioned that in the I don't know if you're watching before you join, but like in the Disney Star Wars, they always go back to Tatooine. It's always the Hutt. It's always Boba Fett or some kind of Fett. It's always they're always in the
Yeah.
same guy coming back over and over again,
Yeah.
like fan service.
I
And then, like
would
you say, what,
I
it's
would
like
understand
20
that.
world?
I would
That guy.
understand that if we were still following fucking Luke around.
Yeah.
But we're not.
Yeah, exactly. Now it's a totally different story, but all those characters are still there. Oh, he's your old favorite. Oh, you remember that guy? He's there again.
It's
Like,
it's it's
yeah,
like it's just an
getting old now.
ever expanding checklist. Each story has to hit every single
Didn't
one.
The
of them.
Hobbit do that with Lord of the Rings stuff?
There wasn't enough
they?
world building up to do
Yeah.
that.
They didn't have like a reoccurring character
But also like I guess
No.
well they did include I think Legolas
or
that
younger
was
people.
in the Hobbit.
Yeah.
So they did bring back actors from Lord of the Ring back into the Hobbit that
Mhm.
didn't belong. But I guess this is like Bilbo was in the Hobbit and in the Lord of the Ring, right? So there's a connection there. They're going
But
to
Does Willow take
similar
place?
location.
Does Willow take place in the Lord of the Ring universe?
It does
Nope.
now.
I would
Does
say
now,
yes.
does it?
I
Does
would
it?
say
Was
yes.
that thing?
I don't think it does actually, but
No.
100% does now.
No, one takes place in Pinewood Studios. One takes place in New Zealand.
I still can't believe.
There you go. I think it's okay for Star Wars because only nerds care about the Star Wars universe full of nonsense. Yeah.
I gave up on Star Wars when Luke and Leia were brother and sister. I gave up.
Oh, that's
I
really
almost walked out of the theater back in
really.
1980.
And then Vader is the father of Luke.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I liked it. I thought that was cool. So you go and you wait in line for 4 hours to watch it again that same day, but the whole Luke and Leia thing. Ugh.
It bothered you. Is it the kiss?
Ugh.
It's like it's a small universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
these people know each other. Oh, and they're related too. Oh, great.
Yeah.
It's like cosmic winds are just a little too strong.
But
Your
that's the thing.
magic.
I can take it sometime, but you can definitely push it too far.
You can do it once or
Sometimes
twice.
it can be cool, like say like, wait, what? Like, oh, okay, right. Once or twice. At some point, if it's when it's everybody, it's just like, oh, come on now.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Well,
You're in a small
retcons.
town.
Your
Lucas was doing retcons because he wanted to do 3 trilogies or something.
yeah.
And like you were saying, like Shauner, like if you do it on a spaceship or like in a small town, like in Twin Peaks, right? It's a small town, somewhat isolated. Yeah, everybody's gonna be interlinked with everybody. Everybody knows everybody and stuff like that. In spaceships, same thing. Like you've been in a spaceship, like on a mission, going to Alpha Centauri. You've been there like for 5 years in the ship, just fucking around. I guess there's gonna be some drama and some stuff going on, right? Maybe.
Yeah.
Depending the kind of people are there, but
You ever watch the show The Wayward Pines? Wayward Pines. No,
Sounds
there's like
familiar.
No.
2 seasons. There's also based on books by the same guy that wrote the Silo one that's out now. It's pretty good. It's a small town, and
Is it-
as
Is
as
it like
you're
the
wa-
4400 or something, or the Dome?
same kind of premise. It's more
The Village.
the Village, the movie, the story, the guys, the people were telling everyone in the M. Night Shyamalan movie,
Yeah.
The Village, is real in the Wayward Pines. So there's a monster out there that will kill you if you leave the town. That's actually going on in the Wayward Pines show.
Yeah.
And it's a show?
It's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was from about 10 years ago.
Let's see if I can find
Was
it.
it the Sci-Fi Channel or something?
I don't know. I think it was it was actually well done. If it was sci-fi, it was like one of their better productions.
But for
What
a
else do we
while,
have
there
to
were
say,
there were a lot of TV shows like that because
Yeah.
Lost made stuff possible, and they're
Yeah.
cheap to make. You don't need
Yeah.
special effects or nothing.
well,
It's all in your
what is
head.
his name?
All the stuff that's happening is off camera, and it's in your head.
Yeah.
Sean, this 4-hour game of Traveler that we went in together, was that soap opera-ish?
The one I was in with you guys,
Yes, because we were all different character, all doing our own thing. And that
we were all doing our own
game
thing.
was interconnected at some point. I
It
guess
could have
that
been
was
like
it,
a
right?
it could have been like a Pulp Fiction kind of a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, because we
We
all
s-
started separated. We were all having our own goal, our own thing. But like then, like you, and I said, like some character didn't never meet, right? Like I never met my character, never met Phil's character, but And I think your character never met Crispy's character.
I never met Crispy's character.
Yeah, but then like outside of that, like we all like connected with one each other, right?
See, I didn't know how Rick was going to run the game. If he was going to narrate the location or leave that all up to us.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say too much because we're separated from each other. If I start narrating what I'm doing, I'll never meet you guys.
But I think that was like very sandboxy because we were very left to our own device. And also there was this soap opera kind of thing, right? Well, there was some plot, those things happening, and then like you Crispy show up, and then like I'm this older military guy, and then like he also had a military background, so then you serve under me, right? Just like we connect like that, and then you get connected like with Phil was for some other reason, and like just like everything this guy this cult leader that Crispy was smuggling aboard, right? Just like so there was all those web being built, but it was all
I made
done
a character
like,
and I thought it would fit in a certain way, but that certain way never came up during the game session. So I had to figure out another reason.
Yeah. But also other thing is
space is big. You can figure out something else.
And also like because we listen to each other, like when everyone was not in the scene, sometimes we can try to push a reason, right? It's like I say, it's almost a bit meta-gamey, but like I know like okay, if now Phil is doing a scene, is going toward this direction. Well, maybe I'll find a reason for my character to go that direction, right? Like that's what I did when you were arriving on the bus, and then I say, okay,
yeah, I'm on the space shuttle thing. I'm on the space shuttle heading towards. I'm leaving Mars and coming to the space station or whatever. I didn't know how fast this space shuttle even travels.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking 2001. So a typical space flight in 2001 is about 5 minutes max. But
is it?
15, 20 minutes, I'm still on the space bus, wondering when it's going to land.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you guys are role-playing, and I'm on the space bus.
But what do you think of the space of the soap opera nature of the thing? Do you think we touched that in this one shot?
We were doing interesting things, and there was some sort of background stuff going on. There was like aliens. I wanted there to be the thing where the scientists did an experiment, and now all of a sudden, Earth is, I don't know, 160 million years ago. So there's dinosaurs on Earth.
We didn't go on Earth.
We never went to Earth.
No.
So we never got to see if that was happening or not. But they were working with the Stargate or a wormhole to travel from Earth to Mars in seconds instead of months. They ended up connecting to an older Earth that had dinosaurs, and the dinosaurs had the not mammals but reptile people.
Yeah.
If you evolved from a dinosaur, you would be like a reptile lizard.
You could be a bird people.
Yeah, or a bird people, chicken people, whatever.
Yeah.
And
dinosaur, big chicken guy.
I don't think we ever got to that because we were doing a one shot.
Yeah.
And we're sort of on a space station.
I'm okay with there being a chicken people fast food joint, but it's not for them. It's for me.
And like in that part, in that
humanoids usually come from either apes or dinosaurs or cockroaches.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm not gonna go in specific. Like there was also like in this traveler game, there was also like those like twist moment, right? Like I say, like at some point, like Crispy reveal, like, oh, I know you, and then like he got this guy that is the cult leader, and then like the monkey people actually made a false flag against the reptilian people and stuff like that, right? Just like,
yeah.
So we had those reveal.
Where's Alex Jones?
Yeah. And then my guy take over the station, do a coup. But anything else on that topic that we want to touch upon? That's important. And then we're going to do a wrap up at a conclusion.
I'm good.
Did you guys watch Twin Peaks?
Yes.
I've never seen the show, so I don't know what any of it's about.
You should.
Yeah.
It's a good show.
I watched
I
the
think-
original and
I
Firewalk.
think I had a job back then, and so back then, if you weren't home when it came on, you missed the show.
Yeah, and it came on pretty
Yep.
late too. No?
There was no later.
Mm.
You didn't watch the third season?
I did not know. I should,
Mm.
and I will, but I
Yeah.
How many seasons was there?
2 originally, then a movie, then they made another one a few years ago.
Like 20 years later or 30 years later. Like what is it? 20 or 30, something like
It
that.
was like 2015, something like that.
No, but but I mean like from the original season.
Sometime in the 80s.
Yeah, so it's like at least 20 years later that they make the. No, it was in the 90s. The original Twin Peaks.
yeah, I think it was
Was it-
90s.
Early 90s, then 92, something like that. I don't
I don't
know.
But I
But,
think Black Lodge Games did a good job of explaining the show, though.
Yeah.
Most people can't explain what the show's even about.
Twin Peaks.
Yeah. But it's hard to explain what it's about.
Yeah,
But
They just say it's
uh,
weird. It's
a
weird.
good
You gotta
show, but-
watch it.
Yeah, the third season it is kind of weird, but it's also like it's saying something. The third
Yeah.
season, I think, wasn't my favorite. Some people really say, "Oh, it's great" and stuff like that. I think there was like very great moment in it, but there was something, let's say, like it drag a bit for me, and I found like okay, I got it right. Just move on, right? Something like that.
I go on YouTube and watch stuff out of context from the series. I'm like, what is this? What is this?
Yeah.
Because they'll say this is the best part of Twin Peaks, and it's
Yeah.
like 5 minutes of this guy doing something weird with no context, no whatever.
Yeah.
But I like Lynch's I like his movies. I've seen all of his movies pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, like there's some I haven't seen, but I pretty much there's a lot of I've seen a lot.
I really can't get into what's that, Blue Velvet or whatever.
Blue Velvet is great.
What?
Yeah, I've watched it a few times. And I was just like,
That one,
Okay.
yeah. If you can get through Naked Lunch, you could probably get through
I like to think
Blue
much.
Velvet.
Naked Lunch is great. I love Naked Lunch.
Lunch. Oh, I can't. I cannot handle watching that
The
movie.
book was better.
I couldn't handle the book. I couldn't read the book. That was like too gross for me. But you know,
'Cause you don't know,
stroke for different folks, I guess, Justin.
'Cause you don't know if
listened
the
to it.
guy's sniffing the insecticide or if he's doing something else or if he's always been crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm pretty sure it was the
well.
insecticide.
And it takes place in the 60s. So who knows what really happened back then.
It was LSD in the insecticide,
Yep.
which I could really believe.
I don't know what the Jacobite wise man said. No, I don't. I want monster, villain, and or philosophy, not in that order. Are you behind? I don't know what that's referred to. Nah. But I want villain and philosophy more than I want monster. But monster are fine palette cleanser sometime. But yeah.
A monster is a tool that a villain uses. It's not a thing on its own. And
Well,
if it
sometimes
is,
it can
there's
just be like a
ways to-
natural thing, right? But like
Yeah.
I have some impact on the world. So okay, so you're good, Justin. Bacon, you have anything you want to add on this soap opera thing? Sandbox and
No, nothing to
Ice
add. I mean,
drama.
I think they got it right, and I think that it can be taken literally. I think that it could be extrapolated on. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be a soap opera. I think the idea is just to make sure that your NPCs are interconnected, have those relationships, so that when you engage one, it has a precipitous effect and moves the world forward. So I guess I do have something else to say.
That's good. What about you, Sean?
I agree with Bacon. Bacon goes good with everything.
That was
Yeah,
your first
I was just about to
mistake.
say that.
I'm probably going to change my channel name, and I think
It's
I've
too late.
landed on Better with Bacon.
Oh, okay.
I think that's just a better. It's just a better title.
Bacon.
Yeah. You should rip off the dog treat commercial.
Yeah.
Just use it as an intro. Bacon,
Yeah.
Bacon.
No idea what you're talking about.
There's a
Bacon
dog
bits.
treat. Yeah. There's a fake bacon dog treat that they used to make for your dog, and they'd have the dog run around like he was on
What do you see
catnip.
ad?
It's called Bacon Strips. I know this because my
Oh.
last name is Bacon.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
Yeah, I know bacon strip. I bought some for my dog sometime.
yeah. There was a commercial way back
Yeah,
when.
no.
Dogs don't know it's not bacon.
Yeah. So for me, like the advice I would say about this whole topic about the soap opera and stuff like that. Oh, yes, I'm referring to the title of the video. There you go. The whole thing I would
I
so I
think
would
they
reiterate what I
legally
said
had
in the
to
beginning, right? I think they were
misspell it.
right about. Sorry, what?
I think they legally had to misspell it. That's why.
Bacon strip. Oh.
Well, it doesn't have bacon in it, so you can't
Yeah.
say it's bacon.
Yeah.
Just like silk, can't say it's milk. There's no milk in silk.
Yeah.
And they've been saying it's a milk substitute. There's no milk.
So yeah, so what I would reiterate, like what I was saying in the beginning, like I think the Black Lodge game guy were mostly right about the soap opera stuff. If you haven't seen the video, watch it. It's a good video, and they make a very good example of it. That's why I didn't play it here. I assume most people watch it.
Are you going to
because
put a
we share
link in the
audience.
description?
It's already
Yes,
there.
there's a link in the description.
Okay.
It's already there. Yes, and but I just like the only caveat I'd say is like be careful not to push it too far. Like those interconnected web work well in small community. If you do it like to the whole world, you have the small universe syndrome, like we're talking about Star Wars and stuff like that. I would say that. Remember, your character has motivations, plural, goals, and desire, right? Each one have multiple one. Those goal motivation goes into conflict with the goals and motivation of the other character, but they also come into conflict amongst themselves in the same character. So that's a good source of conflict and drama there and tension, right? How do you resolve all those things? Think about that. And that would be like my whole thing about recommendation there. And soap opera gaming, like role playing, if that's what you want to do, is not mutually exclusive with Sandbox. I think the two can work great together, especially if you have like proactive player, which you should, because players are not proactive. Or you should train them better. Or
Yeah, you should have proactive players. It's been 50 years. We should have these things by now.
yeah,
It's current year, damn you.
it's current year. Get proactive.
It's like, oh, this game was written in the 70s, and this is how they played it in the 70s. So we're going to tradition.
Remember that you're supposed to be to play a protagonist, so you have to protag. You have impose your will in the world, right? You be active. You just don't wait until stuff
I don't
happens
think
to you.
many people know what a protagonist is anymore.
Well, I seem like a lot of writer don't anymore.
A lot of people
TV
can't.
writer.
Well, people have AI writing for them now. So that's where
No,
their stuff
no,
is
because
generic.
AI does know what a protagonist is and can write one.
Yeah.
Well, the AI would say, "Are you talking about a protagonist?" And the guy's like, "I don't know what that is. That's a big word. No, we're not talking about protagonist." So the AI has to come up with some other thing to do. Here's a story about a person who travels through their journey, and there's no issues, and there's no drama, and end of story.
Exactly. Or like, no, she's great and she can do all those stuff and stuff, and she doesn't need to grow because she's perfect from the get go.
She's a special, one of a kind snowflake character.
Oh,
Thing happened to oppose her, but like she can just overcome them because look how cool she is. Oh, great! That's the story. Share your channel.
show my channel. It's my name right there for Reckless Rants Wednesdays and Fridays, and Mondays if Hungar's not doing anything, and the Bone Spears and Starships for AI written stories.
Sean,
Shauner.
there you go. You got the air like spelled out under his name as well.
Yeah.
For commentary about games and idea and yeah, thought provoking for sure.
I'm reading this comment about Gauntlet Legends Arcade. I didn't know there was a Legends. I know I played Gauntlet when it first came out.
Is that the name?
Elf
Gauntlet
needs
Legends?
Elf needs food badly.
Yeah, Gauntlet Legends is like the second version of Gauntlet, no?
I guess I did the 4-player one.
Oh,
I think it
hello,
was just
Crispy.
called Gauntlet.
We're wrapping up now, Chris. Bacon. Should I call you
Bacon
or
Gaming, just a bunch of bunch of poorly filmed nonsense at the moment, but people seem to like them. So come on by.
Well, you have like you share a good idea. I hope you're gonna keep on putting more of them.
Yeah, I got a whole list of stuff. So we'll keep
good.
going.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for joining me, guys, and thank you for people that joined and watch live in chat, and thank you for people that are gonna watch on the replay. Obviously, let us know what you think in the comment down below. I might read them. If I'm in a YouTuber kind of mood.
I still
But,
say you should implement my 2 ideas on your card
Yeah.
program
Oh wow. Well, no.
and charge for it $5.
We'll talk about it some other day. All right.
I also want supplements for it.
And what else happening? Oh, on Friday I'm gonna go back on Legend of Myth channel again for those rando chill stream. The topic this week kind of interested me, so I said, you know what? I know I've been there last week. I'll go again. It's about like character development and character like advancement, like or character growth, stuff like that, right?
Oh, that's a good topic because the
Yeah, I think
last topic you could only after 5 minutes there's nothing more to say about that topic.
Well, you know,
What
I
was
can
the
say a
last
lot
one?
about any fucking topic about the
But
muscle
character
character
advancement, you could stretch that out for a couple hours.
I can stretch out a lot for.
But their last topic, man, they had
What was their last
Was
topic?
that the warrior topic?
the warrior topic. Yeah.
there was like, let's talk about the warrior.
The warrior archetype, stuff like that. Like,
It's like after 10 minutes, what else is there to say about it?
well, the
I play
information still thing has been
I
said,
play
right?
a warrior class level 7.
Yeah, you should play a warrior because you want to play a nerd in your role playing game, right?
Well, you don't know.
You try a nerd in real life. Don't be one.
I get beat up in real life. I'm gonna play a warrior. I want to be Conan.
Oh, man.
All right, I'm gonna wrap it up. So I'll see you around, I guess.
See you later.
See you
Oh,
later.
yeah.
Bye.
Take care, everyone.
Take care.